Hey, ladies. Hello and happy Friday. We're going to set our 90-second clock and then I'm going to come back. Don't forget to like the video and let's have a fun Freedom Friday. All right, let's see it. Welcome to Black Women Making Money. We are the home of the upwardly mobile Black woman. For exclusive content and invitations to our Inner Circle Zoom meetings, which happen on a monthly basis, you can sign up for free for our email newsletter at bwmakingmoney.com. That's bwmakingmoney.com. Hey, ladies. Guess who's playing a little bit of hooky? Oh, actually, I've been working for so many hours over the past 3 weeks. I also, you all know, have been struggling with a little bit of mental health. I'm actually out of the haze with regards to that. Thank you, Jesus, and thank you to all of you for your support. So I decided to come on today because I got a little time. I got a little time this afternoon, and I just wanted to come share some information with you, a couple of stories I've been hanging on to. I got a very cool email from one of our Black Women Making Money followers with regards to networking advice, and I asked her if I share her story with others and give the same advice to others that I gave to her. And she said yes. So we are going to just talk a little bit today. So Centria is saying hello while just coming in. Well, welcome. Welcome. Happy Freedom Friday. So the first question you may be asking is, Cherie, what is that on your head? You usually, don't ever come with anything on your head. Well, it turns out last night I was at a networking event, and this is what was given out to everybody who attended the networking event. So, because I want to talk a little bit about networking today, not all your networking is going to be, super stoic and stuffy and all of that. It was a business networking event that I went to, and yet we got wolf ears. Because of the place that I was networking, we got the wolf ears. So I was so joyous and happy last night after going to my networking event. And I saw these this morning on my bathroom vanity. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna wear my ears today as well. So this is in celebration of the networking that I did last night. And also because we are going to talk a little bit about networking as well. I want to give you some real practical advice with regards to networking and um, how to actually network at conferences or at associations, but more so conferences, is this young lady's question, and we're going to actually tackle that. So again, don't forget to like the video, everybody. Don't forget to like the video. Before we talk about the networking advice, because I want to give more people a chance to come in, I have a couple of other articles that I thought were very interesting that I want to share with you ladies here. So the first article of the day is that the great wealth transfer is underway in the United States, and a lot of that money is expected to go to women. So, women, ladies, we are about to come into a lot of money. An unprecedented $30 trillion is expected to shift into the hands of women by the end of 2029. So 2030, ladies, we are about to gain a massive amount of wealth in this country. This is according to the McKinsey and Company study released in 2020, found women are set to control much of the unprecedented $30 trillion in assets held by baby boomers by the end of the decade, calling it, quote, a potential wealth transfer of such magnitude that it approaches the annual GDP of the United States. At the time of the study, men were the primary financial decision makers in 2/3 of the affluent households in America, but that is rapidly changing. Now, more than 3 years later, data shows that it is not just the women of the baby boomer generation or the affluent who are increasingly taking control of managing their households. So, this is not just Black women, this is white women, this is Asian women, this is Hispanic women. Um, we all are, getting more income and more wealth in our households and actually controlling the wealth within our households. So, one of the things that I will say with regards to this entire thought of the great wealth transfer for women and coming to women is you can be in a position to capture some of the wealth transfer that is going to other women and other groups of people. You can do that through the businesses that you are setting up, through the multicultural networks that you're setting up, things like that. So, keeping that in mind, that this wealth transfer, I think it's going to be 80 trillion total. This wealth transfer is going to be super huge. And if you are, playing your cards right, and if you are actually thinking about and strategizing your the wealth transfer that's happening, then you can do very well with regards to the next 20, 30 years of your life. Another topic that I wanted to share with you today is about
A judge in California just blocked all residents
million dollar listing star. So I don't know if you have heard of this guy, Josh Altman, but he was on the show Million Dollar Listing, and he argues that there is no room for affordable housing in Beverly Hills. No room for affordable housing in Beverly Hills. I believe what's going to be happening over the next
on planet Earth. We're talking about
probably a couple of years, few years, especially if the migrant crisis continues, is that municipalities are going to start figuring out ways to really separate the haves and the have-nots, the people that they want in certain places versus the people that they do not want in certain places, etc. And it may not be that you just have enough money in order to live in some of these locations,
in
talked about
Beverly
that
Hills.
before.
The
It
issue
may be
is
that you have to be
where?
referred
Where are we
in,
going to put
or
it?
you
And
have to
where are the
make
actual,
certain
where are the
pledges,
things that are going to make
and
people
things like
do this?
that.
Let's
So
talk about
yes,
location
there are
first, okay,
certain
before we
laws
get
with
to
regards
incentives.
to
Where are we
discrimination
going to put it?
in
Across the
housing,
street from
but there
Prada
are
and
always
Gucci? You're going to
ways
put it on
that
top
people
of
can
Louis
keep you
Vuitton?
out or
It
keep other
just doesn't
people
work.
in,
There's no room
etc.
here.
So
But
I thought
also,
this was a
where
very
are the actual
interesting
things that are going to allow people to
article
do this and,
and,
and, and actually
piece
add
of
value,
information
which is,
with regards
let's talk about
to
building.
this
Right now, we're
gentleman,
places where maybe you
saying
get
that,
four
hey, we're
stories instead
not
of maybe make it
interested
where you
in
can have 8
opening up
stories built so people can
Beverly
actually make
Hills
money building
for
these
people who
residences for
need
the low
affordable
income
housing.
housing,
So
which will make sense because it
super
doesn't pencil
interesting.
out right now.
All right.
Are real estate
So,
sales down? Not just in Beverly
what
Hills,
I
but in a
wanted to
larger
do
Los Angeles
now
area.
It's
is
actually
I want to share a an email that I received from one of our Black Women Making Money ladies. And I'm not going to share the whole email because it was actually a little bit longer, but I pulled out certain aspects of it. This is with regards to networking. And she asked me, how does she network when she's planning to attend this expensive conference? So I gave her some great information and I wanted to share it with you. She said yes, that I could share it with you. So I'm going to do that today, and hopefully a lot of this information is going to help you as well. So her email to me was, "Good afternoon, Cherie. I hope this email finds you well. I am double majoring in marketing and finance and expect to graduate soon. I have been implementing your strategies in my daily life as a college student transitioning into the workplace, starting with building my network." She continues, "I stumbled upon a posting for the 2024 Future of Marketing Conference. The event takes place on February 29th. It is a huge conference for the who's who of marketing in Atlanta. The cost of the event is $220. She did receive a student discount, so congrats to her, but she did still have to pay for her ticket." Okay. She's saying here, "I'm looking to make valuable connections at this event to prepare for my post graduation plans." And she wanted me to advise her with regards to a networking plan at this specific conference. So, Centria is saying here, I guess it doesn't really make sense for a place like Beverly Hills, but regular middle income housing can be mixed up. Yeah, look, there are going to be places in this country, in this nation, that is, no affordable housing over here. So, you're saying here, "I don't want to open a can of worms on things, especially since part of the issue to keep money for upkeep and not wanting to share." Uh, you all know I live in the real world. So there are a lot of YouTube channels that are like, "This is the way that it should be. This is the way that it should be if all Black people came together. If, if the Black men did this, if this, if that." I'm like, you know what? I can't control that. You can't control that. Let's consider the things that we can control. So, being aware of the fact that there are going to be places where, you know, you will not be able to live there, it's coming and it's a fact of life. So, but getting back into networking. So again, our Black Women Making Money young lady is a double major in marketing and finance. She is going to a conference that costs $220. She did get a student discount, so congrats for her, but she still had to pay for something. And she wants to make the most of this conference. So, um, I'm going to show you the conference itself. I'm going to go over some stuff. But before I do that, whenever you are looking at going to a conference, and trust me, I've spent money to go to conferences as well. Uh, it's like a one and done thing, right? I mean, it could be an annual conference, but you may not get a second chance to meet that person. You may not get a second chance to be in the same room with the same people. So you want to definitely make sure that what you are doing counts, because $220 is a lot of money for most of us, right? And we want to make sure that we're walking away with something that says, hey, the time I spent and the money I spent was definitely worth it. So, the first thing you want to do is think about your goals over the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Like, what are you actually trying to achieve? What are you trying to achieve in your career, in your personal life, in your, if you may be going to a conference about something you really love to do, right? But for now, let's just say your professional career, right? Or you are starting a business. Like, what are you really trying to achieve? Where are you really trying to go? What kind of job are you really looking for? What's the next step for you, the next level for you? Okay. Then I want you to think about this concept here. This is a book called Who, Not How: The Formula to Achieve Bigger Goals Through Accelerated Teamwork. Now, this book is specifically written for entrepreneurs, but the concept of who, not how has to do with the fact that you are, even as a professional person, I'm always telling you to build a multicultural network, because that multicultural network can help you get additional, get um, new professional opportunities, side gigs, consulting gigs, promotable tasks, all sorts of things your network is able to get you. So when you're thinking about going to a conference, you are looking for different who can help you get to whatever the next level is for you. So what is the next level? Now, here's an interesting thing. With this young lady, she is graduating pretty soon, and she is going to this conference because she's looking at, you know, after graduation, where is life, right? The next step for her, though, is not necessarily thinking, I'm going to go to this conference in order to get a job. The next step for her is, I'm going to this conference in order to meet different people, in order to figure out who has an opening that I can interview for. Or is there something specific? And I didn't get a chance to talk with her on the phone. And this is a Mentor Shelley thing. So definitely go and talk to Mentor Shelley if you need this. But what do I do really well? And what companies really need my talents and my skills? Right? Because if I'm just asking the people who are at the conference, hey, do you have a job opening? They may say no. But guess what? If you have certain skills that they need, they may set up a position just for you. So your goal is, like for her, maybe, hey, I want to find people who work for companies that need what I do really, really well. Or I want to talk to people who have job openings to figure out like what kind of job openings they have and what they're looking for, and to see if I could be interviewed for a position within their company, right? So that's when you're looking at the who, not how. It's not about how do I write my resume so that when I go to this conference, people will, um, you know, reach out to me and say, hey, I want to interview you. It's the who. Who can get me to the top of the list of people being interviewed for a specific job or a specific opportunity? I hope I'm making sense there. So again, the first thing you want to think about is like, what's your next step? What's the next thing that you need? And ultimately, what are your goals over the next 2 to 5 years, right? The second thing you want to think about is who, not how, right? So I talked about it from a person who is going to get their next job opportunity or their first job opportunity. But for some of you, you may be starting a business as well. Maybe the who is getting your first client or getting the first person to give you some feedback about your products or services or something like that. Um, Years ago, um, I actually went to a conference, and I think I told you all this. I went to a conference because there was a woman speaking. Oh, goodness. I'm sorry. I just got an alert that Donald Trump has been fined $354 million by New York State, and he is barred from doing business there for 3 years as a part of his civil fraud case. Thanks. Okay. Um, so anyway, so I went to a conference because there was a specific person that I wanted to meet. I wanted to be on her national TV show, and the conference was $700. Uh, but I went, and I went to meet a specific person for a specific purpose. So, we're going to talk about that as well. I'm going to show you how to identify people for that purpose. But hey, Beulah, saying happy Valentine's. Um, so, sometimes you will also say, hey, you're following someone on social media, right? TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, etc. And they're going to be at a specific conference that you want to go to because you want to meet that specific person for a specific purpose as well. So I wanted to kind of give you that as well with regards to what to think about. Um, Understand that there are three groups of people who will always be at these conferences. The first are the speakers, your panelists, etc. Depending on how big the conference is, it's super easy to get to the speakers. If you are trying to get to a Tony Robinson, for example, that's very difficult. I would never suggest you try to get to Tony Robbins. I would never suggest you try to get to somebody like him, at a conference. But regular schmegular people, they're super easy to get to at conferences, right? So, number one are your speakers and your panelists. The second group of people that are always at conferences are your sponsors. Your sponsors, there'll usually be somebody or a group of people there from the sponsoring company that you are able to engage with and network with, right? So when we talked about this young lady looking for um, her post-graduation networking opportunity, and she's going to this conference, looking at the sponsors and figuring out, are there job openings within those sponsoring companies that she would like to be interviewed for. She is not going, when she meets with the people at the conference who are part of the sponsoring company, she is not looking to get the job, right? All she is looking for is, hey, can you help me get an interview? I'll tell you a great story about this. You all know I love the Sisters in Sales conference. It is for Black and Brown women who are in technology sales. Well, when I went to the Sisters in Sales conference, there was a section, a lounge for us to, have interviews with some of these companies and be considered for jobs within these organizations. And a couple of the ladies actually worked for Walmart, believe it or not. Walmart has some sort of a technology division. And they were like, look, Send in your resume because they're really looking to hire us. Send in your resume. They gave me their business card. They were like, call me when you send in your resume and I will get your resume to the top of the pile and get you an interview. That's what you're looking for when you're networking with sponsoring companies. You want to find the people who are part of that sponsoring organization. If you want to work there, and strike up a conversation with them, talk with them, ask them about their company culture, what they like working, what they like with regards to working with the company, what they don't like, and getting them to like see if they can help you get an interview. That's all you want is the next level. Can I get an interview and get in front of the right person? You're saying not chatting up Gary Vee anytime soon. No, you're not. You're not. Like, don't even bother. Don't even bother, right? Thanks, Beulah, saying great information. I feel like I'm talking all over the place today, but I'm hoping you're able to follow me. Um, so, so the four groups of people that are always at a conference. Number one, your speakers and your panelists. Number two, your sponsors. Number three, your vendors. If you are going to a conference and there's going to be a lot of vendors or exhibitors, those people are guaranteed to be there. So, again, looking at the exhibitors, looking at the vendors, figuring out, is there somebody from one of these companies that I absolutely want to meet with? And why? And why do I want to meet with that person? Like, what am I hoping to get from meeting this person? And it does need to be a small ask, right? Can they get you in front of the hiring manager for an interview? If they can't, would they be willing to at least introduce you to the right person by email or something like that? Anything that's a small ask for them. And yes, Dean, I was at Great Wolf Lodge. Yes. So the story is that last night I went networking at a business association event, and they gave us these, little fur thingies here. So, yes. So, in celebration of me networking last night, and, just me being happy, is what y'all get on screen today. So, all right. So, I talked about the speakers, I talked about the sponsors, I talked about the vendors, right? They're going to be there. So you can find the people that you want to meet. The final group of people that are going to be at the conference for sure are the organizers. You may say, well, Cherie, the organizers, yes. Why? Because they know everybody. The organizer, for example, can give you a personal introduction to the person that you want to meet. And it could be that you know the name of the person, but you don't know exactly what they look like, or you know the name of the person, but you're not exactly sure where they are. Or maybe you don't know the name of the person or the name of a person at all, but you're like, let's say Mary is the organizer. Mary, I'm really excited to be at this event. I really am looking to meet a person that can help me with fill in a blank. Is there anybody that you could think of that I should meet while I'm here or that I should know while I'm here? That's a really great way for you to figure out if you do your pre-homework and you're not sure of who to meet, right? That's a great way for you to, uh, you know, get some intel with regard to who's going to be there and who you would want to meet and who you would want to connect with. So, again, those are the four groups of people that are always at the conference: speakers, sponsors, vendors, organizers, right? Okay. The next thing is I'm going to show you how to do some research with regards to when you're going to a conference. Um, like how to identify the people that are going to be there and a little bit about researching the people based on what you want from those meetings. But I will say this, you need to have a script. You need to have a script with regards to once you meet that person, what exactly are you going to say to them? And you need to practice it like you are Angela Bassett or Viola Davis. You need to be on your game when you talk to that person because sometimes you may only have one shot to really impress the person. So I would suggest 30 seconds, no more than 30 seconds. You want to write out your script with regards to what you're going to say and rehearse it. Rehearse it, rehearse it, rehearse it. If you need help with that script, that's what Mentor Shelley is for. Say, Mentor Shelley, this is who I'm looking to meet. This specific person at this specific conference is who I'm looking to meet. This is what I'm looking to do. Ultimately, can you help me come up with a 30-second script? And you need to practice that sucker like you are Viola Davis about to win the freaking Oscar. Now, I'm not telling you to be fake with it, but I am telling you that you need to show up confidently with whatever ask that you have. Yeah, absolutely. This will be up. So definitely rewatch this and take notes. And I might do this as well in one of our Zoom Inner Circle sessions as well, because I feel like I'm not really explaining myself as well as I would like to. And I definitely would want you all to ask me questions as well. But you definitely need to have a plan and know what you're going to say to the people that you want to connect with, right? And have an outcome in mind and be able to follow up and know when you're going to follow up. Have it in your calendar. Hey, this is follow up time for me with regards to I met this person yesterday. Or I met this person earlier today. Let me follow up. Let me connect with them on LinkedIn. Let me send them an email message. So nice to meet you, etc. A lot of people drop the ball on their networking because they don't follow up. So put it in your calendar that you're going to follow up that evening or the next day. And no matter what, and I see Mentor Shelley is in here, so at some point, hopefully she'll come and we'll be able to tag team with this. But at some point, oftentimes people mess up because number one, they don't know who they want to meet. Number two, they really don't know what they're asking of the person, or the ask is too much of an ask, right? It needs to be a simple thing that they can say yes to. Number three, they haven't practiced their script. They don't know what to say. It comes out, bloop, 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 you know, and it's okay to be nervous, but, you know, you have to be able to say whatever it is you want to say in 30 seconds. It's called an elevator pitch for a reason, right? And then number four, they don't follow up. They don't follow up. So yes, the script can be an elevator pitch. Most likely it is. When a lot of people say elevator pitch, they make it sound like something that, they're pitching for capital or something like that. Sometimes it's a pitch to be able to continue the conversation with the person. Is this something that would interest you? Would you be able to help me? Right? So the young lady who is about to graduate from college, and she's going to this 2024 Future of Marketing conference. Ticket prices are $220. She did get her student discount, so shout out to her. But this is an expensive, quote unquote, expensive conference. No, expensive is relative because there are conferences out there that are a couple of $1,000s, right? But for her, this is an expensive conference, right? So the elevator pitch may be, I said this before, the elevator pitch may be for her to get an interview with a specific company that she wants to interview at. Even if they do not have a job opening for her right now, or even if she is super underqualified for the job opening that she sees on the career page of that company's website. Go see Mentor Shelley, don't come see me for your script, right? Because Mentor Shelley can help you with regards to, okay, this is the company that I think I want to work at. This is this is what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for an interview. I'm just looking for a shot to go in and talk to the hiring manager and let them know what I am able to do. And I'm going to this conference to meet this specific panelist, for example, in order to start a relationship with them so that they would recommend me for an interview. This is an example, right? This is an example of what you're able to do at a conference. I said it before, some of you are coming in now, that oftentimes at these conferences, this is not like the Chamber of Commerce or someplace like that, where if you mess up this month, you can come see them next month at happy hour, right? A lot of these conferences are once a year, and you may not be in the room with these same people again for a year. So you want to make sure that your stuff is tight before you get in there. So, having your prep time, putting it on your calendar. Hey, I'm going to prep for this conference with regards to the strategy that I'm going to do, with regards to my scripts, with regards to my research. Who do I want to talk to? What do I want from them, etc. Putting that on your calendar in advance. Okay, so let's take a look at the conference that this young lady is going to. Let's take a look at this conference. This is the Future of Marketing conference that she is going to, right? It's going to bring together hundreds of senior marketers. And again, she is a marketing and finance double major, I think she said. Yes, she is. Marketing, finance, double major. Okay, it's a half-day conference, and it will highlight thought leadership from world-class marketing experts and futurists. So she is going to attend this conference. We've got a couple of keynote speakers here. Neither one of these keynote speakers are Gary Vee or Tony Robbins or anything like that. Oops, I'm here. I'm sorry. Had in the wrong place. Okay. And you all are saying the video is playing. Dog it. Let me know if the video has stopped. One reason why I hate like Fox News business website, because you mute their stuff and I don't know, they turn their stuff back on. Y'all just put a one in. So you're saying you didn't hear my intro and it stopped. Okay. All right. So let's come back up here. This is the 2024 Future of Marketing Conference and Awards that the young lady is attending, right? So this is once a year thing. She's got one shot in order to make this work for her. She is a double major in marketing and in finance. So she's going to come up with a strategy with regards to what she ultimately wants and who she wants to meet from this conference, right? Great. So the first thing we come here and do is we look at the different speakers that are here. Neither of these people are Gary Vee or Tony Robbins. So, The people that we have here is the chief strategist at Google, Neil Hoyne, and the chief knowledge officer at some company called Kantar, Jay Walker Smith. So if she absolutely wants to be considered for working at Google, great. If not, like I'm not a fan of trying to go work for these big tech firms. A lot of them are laying off right now. But, uh, if that's what she wants to do, then maybe this is the gentleman that she says, hey, I want to meet this chief strategist. Now, I will say something about keynote speakers, about any speakers. This is another big thing that a lot of people don't do. Pick one person that's like the primary person. If you don't get to speak to anybody else, you get to speak to this specific person, right? What you want to do, especially for the keynote speakers, think about it. After a person gives a keynote speech, they end up with a line full of people who want to talk to them. I have found, unless it's, especially with a conference like this, getting to the keynote speaker after they have spoken is very difficult, especially if you want to be memorable. You want to get to the keynote speaker before they speak. Before they speak. So if I wanted to talk with either one of these gentlemen, I would have their face, their picture imprinted in my brain. This is who I'm looking to speak to before they speak. Since it's a half-day event, I would know exactly where they're going to speak and when they're going to be there. I would camp out in that room, in that area, at least 20 minutes before they are scheduled to go on stage. This is real strategy I'm giving you here. I would have my 30-second pitch or intro or conversation ready to go. I would know exactly what I want to say to them and exactly how I want to approach them. I wouldn't worry about any of the other topics that are being spoken about. I wouldn't worry about, hey, there's this really great panel that I want to continue listening to before this speaker is scheduled to speak. No, nothing else matters. Tunnel vision. If I'm trying to speak to one of these gentlemen, actually any of the speakers, I would have tunnel vision. I wouldn't let a panel discussion or anything else get in the way of me getting in front of that individual. So I hope you hear me. That's like real gems dropped right there. With regards to, don't wait until after the keynote speech to go talk to the keynote speaker. Your goal is to get in front of them before the keynote speech. Your job is to get their contact information before they speak. See if you can get their phone number or if they will tell you what their assistant's name is. Sometimes they'll give you their cell phone number, not their AOL email address. They'll give you their real email address, etc. That's what you're trying to get with regards to this. So, Mentor Shelley, if you want to come up as well, let me know, and I can drop the link for you. But I wanted to talk with the ladies with regards to this. So you have your two keynote speakers. You have other featured speakers here. So maybe it's not the guy from Google or Kantar. Maybe it's one of these other people that you want to get in front of, right? You're able to do that. You're able to see who the featured speakers are, go on LinkedIn, find some commonality with them. For example, maybe you're from the same state, like, this is a Georgia State University event, but maybe you're from Tennessee and they're from Tennessee or something like that, some sort of commonality. Now, I will tell you another thing that I have said to a specific speaker that I wanted to speak with, that I talked to before she gave her keynote presentation, and it worked. Here's what I said to her. I came to this event specifically to meet you. I came to this event specifically to meet you. The reason that I wanted to meet you is because ... That is your elevator pitch, right? Quote unquote elevator pitch. I came to this event specifically to meet you. And the reason why I wanted to meet you is because ... You're from Tennessee and so am I. You work at this company. I am graduating in May, and I, really love healthcare and finance and technology. And I'd love an opportunity to talk with you more about some of the things that you're doing at your job, and, how I can break into the industry. Maybe that's your one ask, is getting that person to agree to give you 30 minutes to an hour of their time, with the hopes that then they will refer you, within their organization to get a job or something like that, right? This is why you really want to just focus on having one person, specifically one person that you want to meet, and specifically one ask, and making it count. Because if you try to have 8, 10 different people you're doing this with, it gets diluted. Think about one person, okay? All right, so, there we go. So you got your featured speakers here. And then we also have our panelists in here as well. So, again, you're able to, if there's a panelist that you want to meet, go do the same thing. Talk with that person, etc., and have a single ask, whether it's, hey, can we talk on the back end? Set up a Zoom meeting or something like that. Can we, can you look at my LinkedIn? Can you, can I practice my interviewing skills with you? Anything like that. You also will see the sponsors and partners down here. So, let's say you want to work for Georgia Pacific, right? Let's say you want to work for Georgia Pacific. You know that there'll be somebody there from Georgia Pacific, since they are sponsors of this event. So you may not necessarily know the person, but this is where you can go find the organizer and say to them, hey, I'm looking to meet the person from Georgia Pacific. Can you introduce me to that person? Oftentimes at this event, there will be a, a vendor table and these individuals will be there. So you're able to do it that way as well. So that is it. That is it. If anybody wants to come up, has a question, comment, put a 1 in the chat, and I will be more than happy to open up the discussion. I know you all can hear the dog. I apologize, but he is, he's always on one. As people say, the dog is always on one. The dog always is like, he's always about being aggressive. He's a German Shepherd, so that's his thing. Put a 1 in the chat if anybody wants to come up. If not, Freedom Friday is over. We're, You're going to definitely listen to the replay. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, I'll give people just a couple more minutes to put a one in the chat. If or ask questions if you have questions with regards to networking. With regards to networking. And again, don't forget, this is the book, Who Not How. Who Not How is the book that you want to read. This book is really a lot more for entrepreneurs, but even as an employed individual, you could probably get some gems with regards to this. So Pink Orchid is asking if I have any advice about shyness. Um, so I have to admit, I don't know as much about shyness. It's not something that I really suffer from. Um, I will say that, being prepared is a great way to overcome shyness. I will also say having one person that you intend to talk to um, is a great way for you to overcome that shyness as well, because you don't have to think, oh, I got 10 people to talk to. No, I'm going to talk to one person, right? One person, which is the person that you're going there with the intention of talking to. Um, I would also say sometimes being introduced to people is a great way for you to overcome that shyness, because the organizer, for example, is introducing you to that person, or the usher, one of the team members at the conference can introduce you to that person. So, thinking about that as well. The final thing I will say is the individuals that are there to network as well. So they're not going to bite your head off. They're not going to be rude to you 99.9% of the time, right? They're there to network as well. So a lot of the shyness is, about you being nervous sometimes about how people are going to interact with you. 99.9% of the time, they are ecstatic and excited to meet you, because that's why they're there as well. So, I hope that answered your question a little bit. I'm sure there are about a lot of YouTube videos with regards to networking as a shy person. Um, it is something that is an Achilles heel, though, if you are so shy that it's keeping you from meeting people. It's going to be an Achilles heel, or could have a detrimental impact to your working career long term. So, um, over time, like on this channel, maybe I'll do some more research or bring in an expert or something like that that can have some more exercises and things that you're able to do with regards to shyness. But it is something that you definitely want to get some skills around. So, Nia saying, should we offer to do something for the keynote to add value? Yeah, you could definitely do that. So it would depend on who the keynote is, for example. Give me a second. It would depend on who the keynote is, what kind of value they need from you, what kind of value you can add, what are your skills, especially skills that you could showcase to the keynote that has to do with the job that you're trying to get or the opportunity that you're trying to get. Those are ideal skills to offer to the keynote with regards to adding value to them. But yeah, but sometimes it's not necessary. Sometimes they want to be the hero within their company. And if they're able to say, hey, I was a keynote speaker at XYZ event, and I met this woman named Nia, and she is an expert at what we need within this company. And I just want people to meet her and interview her, because I think that she would be a dynamic addition to this team. Let me tell you something. You bring the right people into the right team, that's a win for them. You're adding value by your presence and by your ability to add value to the company. So you may not necessarily have to add value to that person specifically, right? Centuria is saying, yeah, after the pandemic and seeing my family work in sales, I've learned I have public anxiety. Yeah, so it's one of those things where you will have to, um, I don't want to say coping skills, but figuring out how you can maneuver past that, maneuver past that. Uh, we, I was watching something. I can't remember what it was. And they were talking about the fact that Black men have trouble getting certain types of jobs because, oh, yeah, now I remember what it was. All right, so it's going to be a little controversial. I was watching something, and this guy was talking about um, this Hispanic gentleman that he knew. And he said that the Hispanic gentleman did not like to hire Black men because Black men are difficult to work with and to deal with. And the first thing that popped in my head was um, they have to have the Black men have to have a multicultural network in order to get past this because specifically whatever area they were in, the Hispanics, which is like most areas, the Hispanics basically control the hiring within the construction industry. So, why am I saying this with regards to this? Because if you have so much public anxiety that you are not able to function in a networking event, it could have repercussions with regards to the opportunities that are presented to you in your professional life. This is why the multicultural networks are so important. So, Jay Antoinette is in the building. Hello. You're saying here, I agree that being prepared can help alleviate shyness. I also think that pinpointing the source or reasoning of your shyness is important too. Does UT stem oh, from insecurity, anxiety, fear? Or does it stem from insecurity, anxiety, fear? Yeah, talk also understanding again that people are there to network. They want to meet you as much as you want to meet them. They're not going to bite your head off. I promise you, they're not going to bite your head off when you say hello. They're going to say hello back. You know, how you doing? What's your name? Things like that. Sometimes they're just as shy as you are. It's okay. Um, but yeah, does it stem from insecurity, anxiety, or fear? I know when I go to conferences or places like that, and if I find I'm a wallflower, it's because um like people have their cliques. Now, this is an important thing. People will have their cliques depending on the associations you go to, and they won't like let you in the clique. I'll be honest with you. What I do is I will find a group of people talking to each other, but they have a small opening. I'll stand in the small opening, and I will just listen to their conversation. And as I catch somebody's eye, smile and say, hi. And oftentimes the circle opens up to allow you in. And then somebody will say, hey, how are you? What's your name? Um, Mentor Shelley, if you want to come up, I don't know if you can put a one in the chat now, because I would love to hear your comments with regards to this topic as well. But that is a way for you to kind of get past some of that social anxiety as well. Because there are places you go where sometimes they're kind of clicky, right? But overall, they're still to network. They're still there to network as well. And even when I've been in clicky places, nobody's bitten my head off. So yeah, so that is something that you can do. That you can do. Um, Knowing the cause can help too with regards to your insecurity, along with CBT techniques. So I have to admit, I don't know what anything about that, but yeah, look. There are a lot of different techniques. You got to find the one that works for you. I found CBT techniques helped with my anxiety-based shyness at events, professional and personal. Century is saying, already dealing with those repercussions. I have little to no network, having to learn all of this now in my 30s. So with anything, practice helps you get better. Practice helps you get better. Centria, I'll be very honest with you. At the very least, you should be out networking at least once a month. Ideally, you would be out networking once a week. Ideally, you would be out networking once a week. The only way you're going to get past the anxiety, the shyness, things like that, is for you to get out there, for you to do it, for you to stumble. When I mean stumble, I mean, flubbing up on words. Like it happens to me, like I'm talking to somebody and I'm, and guess what? People are like, okay, you know. And when you get through that and used to that, then you come out on the other side. It's just like anything else. If I want to be a great salesperson, I need to pitch my product to 100 people, right? For me to be a great loan officer, I need to close 100 loans. That's something that I discovered a couple of days ago. I'm like, you know what? For me to be a great loan officer, I need to close 100 loans. I've closed 14 thus far. I got another 86 to go, right? But I'm like, okay, I'm committed. I'm committed. For you to be a great networker, you may need to say, hey, I'm going to go to an event a week. And you may not start off with the big conference with 3, 4, 500 people, because I'm not a fan of a 500 person conference. I'm just not. That's just a personal thing for me. I don't like crowds. But the event I went to last night had maybe about 70 people there. So for me, that's a good enough crowd for me, right? So maybe you start off at meetups that have 10, 12, 15, 20 people, and you warm your way up. But my suggestion to you would be for you to set it up where once a week you would go to a networking event. And I know you have your business as well, so this would be a great way. You're saying here, forgive me, but my initial emotional response is too tired for once a week, but I will work up to that. Okay, well, maybe you start off with once a month. I know for me, at the beginning of the year, or last year, the end of last year, I wrote my goals for 2024 and the things that I was going to do, my activities for 2024 in order to be a success. And I decided to join my local chamber of commerce because I don't have a big network. I don't have a network at all where I live. Where I moved from, I had a big network, but where I moved to, I don't have a network here. And so, I said, okay, I'm going to join my local chamber of commerce. They have a coffee and connection networking event. That's like a morning networking event once a month. And they have a happy hour, actually once a week, every Thursday. And it's right up the street from my house. So I have no excuse, right? So I'm like, okay, once a month, I'm going to go to the coffee meeting. And at least once a month, I'm going to go up to the happy hour event. I've already started meeting people, networking with people. People are super nice, etc. So, you could definitely do once a month. You could even potentially do twice a month. So, you're saying here, first thing I do is mostly go on a mostly empty stomach, still watching others do it and just chat up is helping me to prepare. Yeah. So, I definitely don't go to any networking event full. But I also understand the principle. It's not net sit, And it's not net eat, it's net work. You are there to work, just like, you know, Viola Davis, right? So, really, it is about okay, can I talk to at least two or three people and just have a conversation with people? And again, if I'm spending $300 on an event, I expect to go in there knowing who I'm going to meet, what I'm going to say, and what I want from it. If it's a meetup or something like that, like last night's event, I didn't pay anything to get in there. Y'all like my little furry ears. Um, I was like, whoever I meet in here is who I meet, you know? So I met a couple of a couple of women, sorry, who are caterers. I met another woman who owns a soap company. I saw a couple of people that I know from our chamber, you know, so getting to say hello to them, things like that. You know, I didn't care. I didn't pay any money to get in there, so I was fine. Um, Pink Orchid is saying that's what I was referring to, the clicks rather than fear, especially in finance, good old boys club. You I'll be honest with you, you gotta your way in. And women can be clicky too. The women can be clicky too. Now, I am not saying network with a whole bunch of racist people, right? I'm not saying, y'all know me. Make sure they are racist before you just totally slam the door on it. Because a lot of times they're not just racist, it's just clicky, right? But good old boys clubs, girl, wear a nice skirt, wear some heels, put your makeup on, put your wig on, or whatever it is, look cute, and go in there and bust up the good old boys club. Boys, the good old boys love a great looking woman. They do. You're like, hi, how you doing? What are you all talking about today? My name is Pink Orchid. How's it going? Yeah, you know, I just, you know, I've been in the industry for X number of years, and I just wanted to come and see what everybody was talking about tonight, you know, or what's happening or whatever. Good old boys clubs. You know how useful the good old boys clubs can do. You know what they are able to do. The good old boys are able to pick up the phone and make stuff happen for you. I would get their names, I would get their business cards, I would find out more about them. Where do they network? What other associations do they belong to? Let me tell you something. A good old boy can get you into certain rooms, they can get you out of trouble. If you need to make a move in your business or in your career, a good old boy could pick up the phone and make it happen. I am team good old boy. You should be too. You should be too. So no problem, Mentor Shelley. We'll schedule some time because I'd love for you to come up and we can have this conversation as part two. I kind of felt like even though I had my notes that I wasn't quite as succinct as I would like to be. So I kind of want to do this conversation again. But Nia saying I like the sound of that. Perfect. Perfect. Centria saying, I can't eat when I'm anxious, too much tied up. So going empty and not eating, just focus on chatting with others. I think that's great. I think that's great. And you start off again once a month, then you move to twice a month, then you move to once a week. Next thing you know, you will be a networking star. And the truth is, once you go someplace and you know a couple of people, then this is why I like you going to the same places month after month after month. Because then next month, you will see somebody you met last month. And that's the person you start with, right? Hey, Mary, good to see you again. Remember me? I'm Shantria. I was here last month, blah, 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 blah. How's it going? And then somebody else will come and start talking to Mary. And then that's the new person that you meet. Then in month 3, you know 6 people at the networking event. And all of a sudden, the people, you were anxious about, like, no, I've seen these people over and over again. If you go once a month, for 12 months, you should know at least a third of the room, if not half of the room. The best networking events always have half of the people who are there every single month without fail, and half of the people will be either new or like people who just come and go, right? So if you're there every month, people will see you over and over and over again. By month 3 of them seeing you over and over again, they will start coming to you. Hey, Centria, how you doing? How's, your kids, or, how's business or whatever? You said last month this. Let me introduce you to this person. Oh, let me get your phone number again because I thought about you because of this, blah, 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 blah. So that's why I'm a super fan of, you can go to the conferences if you want, but you've only got one shot at seeing that person at a conference. If you go to the meetup or the association, whether it's the chamber meeting or something like that, the local women in tech meeting that you have over and over again every single month, you're going to see the same people over and over again. And I promise you, by month 3, if you just go every single month, by month 3, the anxiety is probably going to dissipate. Definitely by month 12. If you're still anxious in month 12, then, then I don't know enough about shyness. But I would think, because my understanding with shy people is they're shy around people who they don't know. Once a shy person knows somebody, my understanding is that the shyness it fades away. That's my understanding. So if that's the case, then not going to the big conferences, going to the little meetup groups that have 20, 30, 40 people a month, once a month, and just seeing those same people over and over again. So you're saying, thank you. You are welcome. The good old boys clubs types are the easiest to charm. I agree. Look, you put on a nice skirt, a nice blouse, put your makeup on, your hair is on point, you got some heels on, you walk in, you charm them. They don't care that you're Black. They don't care, that you're a size 12 or 14, whatever. Girl, charm them. They will pay for your drinks. Yesterday, I was at a networking event, and one of the guys that I know from the chamber was like, hey, Sheree, how you doing? He bought me a drink last night. He's a married man with a child. So, and he's a white man. I'm like, I'm not interested in him. He's not interested in me. But the good old boys, yes. He's like, you want something to drink? I put in my drink order. He swiped his credit card. I was like, thank you. Thank you so much. So, yes. Good old boys. Well, look, you could get a lot out of the good old boys. Yeah, don't sleep on it. There's 2 other things family mentioned about networking, mentioned about club or activity memberships, and funny enough, going out to eat. Yep. Yeah, yeah. You can get in the club, like not dance clubs, but like golf clubs and, other types of activities, charitable activities, things like that. The power of a multicultural network. It's worth millions of dollars to you in your careers, in your businesses, etc. Millions of dollars. Mia saying it busts up the boys club, but I feel the women sometimes don't take me as seriously. You know what? Women can be cliquey. Women can be cliquey as well. So, but I will say one thing. I don't go in assuming that I cannot get into the clique. Sometimes with the cliques, they've seen people come and go, come and go, come and go. So they want to make sure that you're actually going to stick around before they let you into the clique, right? Sometimes they want to get a feel for you and like who you are and your the way that you look at life, your ethics, things like that. Let's be real, ladies. Let's be real. There are some Black women who do not represent us well on social media and who do not represent us well in the corporate world. So, this is why I don't always throw racism, white supremacy out at people. Sometimes people just kind of want to see who you are before they really embrace you. And the harder it is for you to really connect with them, sometimes, not all the time, sometimes the harder it is for you to connect with them, the stronger their friendship is going to be when they finally do. If they don't let people in so easy, sometimes when they let you in, the stronger your connection is going to be within the group, within the clique. So, you know, you're saying here, airport clubs, etc. That's what I meant. Oh, yeah, not the club unless you're doing entertainment. Yeah, I knew you didn't mean the club, but yeah, airport clubs. Again, with airport clubs, as far as I know of, it's kind of a one and done thing. If you meet somebody sitting next to you, great. If you don't, you don't have a chance to necessarily connect with them over and over again. But I've been in the airport clubs. I love an airport club, but I really don't talk to people. See, I'm weird because I really don't talk to people when I'm traveling. When I'm traveling, when I'm in the airport and when I'm on an airplane, I prefer to be left alone. I prefer to be left alone. I don't know for corporate, but the log just likes to push that. Oh, the algorithm just likes to push that out. Um, yes and no. There are certain so yeah, the algorithm does hurt as well, but that's why we have to be aware of it and aware of how we are presenting ourselves. I mean, we have to be honest, right? Um, but yeah, let's be real. There's certain people that give the algorithms content as well. So got to be honest about that. Got to be honest. Now, do I think it's the super majority of Black women? No. But you know, we have to recognize that the algorithm does have help. Nia saying, I don't want anyone thinking I'm flirting with them. I tried this recently at a conference, got the feeling from one speaker that he thought I was flirting, even though we talked about his business. Yeah, look, some speakers will, and some people that you're networking with will want you to be flirting with them, or will assume you are flirting with them even though you aren't. So there's a way to be, we know how to be friendly versus being flirty. And if they can't get the hint, then, walking away from them and separating yourself is the best thing to do. If he can't get the hint that you're talking about business and you're friendly, then he probably wants you to flirt with him then. Centuria's saying I could just be smiling while reading a book and guys will think you're hitting on them. Yeah. So I can understand that as well. So, that's why a lot of people accuse Black women of being angry and mean and things like that. But sometimes it is a defense mechanism. Sometimes it is. So that's why I want you in multicultural rooms as much as possible and not all Black events. I'm going to be honest. You want to learn how to golf? Seems like great networking. Golf is great networking. I was offered a job on a golf course once. I did. You play like, I think it's called a foursome, but you play with like three people plus yourself. And by the time we hit the 18th hole, this guy offered me a job. I ended up not taking it. I wonder where my life would have been if I had taken it. But yeah, golf is great networking. And actually, there's a woman that I met last week at a networking event that I was at. She's a woman, and she teaches golfing in the local area. And I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to come to you during the springtime and take some golfing lessons. But yeah, golf is great networking. Now, have your coins together. Have your coins together, because golf does cost money. You will want to enter the different charity events and things like that. But practically everybody who plays golf is, either upper middle class or higher. And you can do some really great networking with golf. There's not a lot of lower income people playing golf. So, that anybody that you meet on the golf course practically can be somebody you can network with long term. So, yeah. Um, let's see here. Yep. All righty then, ladies. Well, that is it for me. Y'all know I don't like to be on here more than 90 minutes. So glad we had a chance to talk about networking. I'm going to have Mentor Shelley come back sometime as well for us to talk a little bit more about networking. I'm definitely want to hear what she has to say, as well as some other people in the space, give you some more ideas with regards to networking. We talked about conferences today. With our question of the day. And then I also gave you some information with regards to going to smaller events, meetup, chambers of commerce, things like that, which is more of where I network. But, I definitely want us to have more conversations with regards to this idea of who, not how. So if you're in business, this is a great book for you to get, Who, Not How. And yeah, so I will probably be here for Small Business Saturday tomorrow. So y'all get to see me. You were saying here, gave me another thought, like local, especially gyms, Pilates, cycling, etc. Yes, it was long stream. Thank you, and hope you feel better. Thank you. Thank you. Actually, I already feel better. So I'm progressively working towards getting back to normal. So that is it for me. I will see you ladies tomorrow. Take care. Have a blessed evening.